that has them climbing to 5th place, missing so many senior players tonight. It was time for some of the understudies to step up, and they absolutely did that. There's two of them, Patrick Dorgu and 19-year-old Aidan Heaven, who repelled attack after attack at the centre of United's defence. We can hear from both of them with Juliet Farrington.
Aidan, Patrick, congratulations. Aidan, first of all, that felt big tonight.
It was finally a clean sheet, you know. We've been waiting for this for a couple of weeks, and I'm just so happy, you know. And yeah, this guy here. Yeah, it was different again. Obviously, I was playing on the right side, and it's obviously my weaker foot. But the manager, we play loads of formations with him, and whatever he does, we know it's going to work. And obviously, you saw today. And yeah, I'm just so proud of the team.
And so much has been made as well about the opportunity to go 5th in the Premier League. And you've had chances before, but you did it tonight. Just talking about being in the top 5 or 5th, what does that do for confidence?
Yeah, obviously, I think as Manchester United, we belong in Europe and we want to get back there next season. So obviously, we can even push for the top 4, possibly win the league, you know. Anything's possible, and yeah, we're just going to keep trying.
But do you feel you are progressing and you are developing to be that top 5, top 4 team?
Yeah, for sure. You see the fighting spirit we showed today, the whole game, defending as a team, so for sure. And when we get players back as well, we'll be even stronger, so yeah.
Well, you scored the goal. You were the match winner. Aidan is player of the match. I mean, you want to share it as well, but what would you like to say? What would you like to say about first?
I just want to thank him, you know, because I was just in front of him when he volleyed it in. I knew as soon as it dropped he was gonna score. But yeah, I'm just thankful, you know, to him. And yeah, that's it.
And what would you like to say about Aidan?
Yeah, Aidan did really well today. Cleared a lot of balls and defending really well. So I'm happy for him.
Well done. Let you get back in the dressing room. Would you like to do the honours?
Yeah, bro.
Sorry, but
it's fine.
He deserves it, but it's my first one. If it was my second one, it would be his. But
your first and his first goal.
Yeah, it's fine, bro. We share it.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you.
Doesn't always go to forward players or goal scorers, especially when Gary Neville is on commentary. I like the confidence. Maybe we could win the league this season, but let's not...
bit of a stretch, I think. Yeah.
Let's not dwell too much on that. Simplify this for us, Roy. What have we seen here tonight?
Well, we've seen a big win for United. We've seen all the stats before the game when Bruno's missing, etc. So for to come out, win an ugly game, and what the players have mentioned there, particularly from a defensive point of view, keeping that clean sheet. So we saw the stats, the amount of crosses that were going into the box, amount of times they had to clear their lines. Obviously, that's what they're supposed to do. But there has to be pride in your defending. Again, we've spoke many times over the last few months about how good United are going forward. The goal was fantastic, a special goal, great moment for him. But if you really want to make progress as a football club, it's got to be about being defensively solid and keeping clean sheets. It has to be.
Second clean sheet this season.
Yeah, of course, but it's a start in terms of getting momentum for these younger players, because they would have heard over the last few days about the constant chat in the media is about players who are missing, and Bruno, that's what happens when your top lads are missing. So I said before the game, but you still have to find something. Yeah, he changed the system, they rolled their sleeves up towards the end, but that's part of football, surviving, hanging in there, digging out results. Your memory can play tricks, and people go back to the teams I played in as if we played it well every week. We didn't, but we dug in and you found results. You mentioned there about winning league titles, keeping clean sheets. Again, they're not quite ready for that, but they have to start somewhere. And what I enjoyed a little bit about it, there was certainly pride in it. I've not seen that pride. There's no good us sitting here like a few weeks ago, 4-4 against Bournemouth. It was a mad game, chance. That's fine every now and again, but you're not going to go anywhere with that type of kind of attitude. So they almost had a rating, I think, in the last week or two. We have to go back and being hard to beat. They've done that tonight. They obviously have to kick on now.
Are you surprised by the outcome, Jamie, given the personnel that have been involved for both teams, really?
Yeah, I think you asked me at the start of the game who I thought was favourites for the game, and I thought I couldn't see how United were favourites when you see the team. And when you think of the team that finished the game, no way. So it'll be a huge disappointment, I think, for Newcastle to not get anything from the game. But as I said before, I don't think they deserved it. I know when you look at the stats, they're so far in Newcastle's favour, but you've got to take into account who they're up against and what that Manchester United team was at the end. So you'd expect sort of those sort of numbers. But the big one for me was the obvious one, no goals, but only one big chance. And you think of how many crosses they put in, the most Newcastle have put in any game this season. There was only one I can remember with real quality from Murphy in that first half. The amount of times, so the lack of quality from Newcastle around the box, not so much with the finishing, with the creation means that they didn't deserve anything from the game.
We've talked a lot about tactics and formations and setups tonight as well. What part?
It was just so easy to tell. There was no sort of interchanging sort of system. He probably had to do something at that time. I was surprised with the substitutions at the end in terms of Martinez and Shaw. Not so much because he brought them off, because who knows what the fitness issues are. If he brought them off 10 or 15 minutes earlier, you might say, okay, there might be an injury issue. But because it was so late, felt strange. But listen, tonight is not a night for that when you think of sort of what United have been through, the players they've been missing, AFCON, the problems they've had tonight, bringing obviously young Fletcher on, Mount going off at half-time. It's a brilliant win for them all.
The players would have felt the pressure. It was definitely a bit of relief as well at the end. And I'm not a great one for the players going on the pitch applauding everybody, but it definitely felt, there was a feeling tonight, you're going, this is an important game for the club. It really is. For all the negativity the players are missing, again, particularly Bruno missing. And there was that vibe before the game going, probably Newcastle are almost slight favourites. So I think the players would have felt that pressure. And when you get young players coming on and performing, again, getting a win under the belts, that will give them huge belief and confidence going forward. Because when you get a result in front of the fans, and it gives them a good taste for it, because they've had too many setbacks, particularly go back to last year. And this year there's still been in negativity, even though the signs have been a little bit better. So I think the players will certainly enjoy that tonight.
And we were asking the question before the game, who would emerge as a potential match winner tonight? I don't think any of us were talking about Patrick Dorgu, were we?
No, but what a brilliant goal. We said it at half-time. He had a long time to think about it, and he's coming across him, but his technique at the very end was absolutely fantastic. Now, we've been critical since he's come to the club about his technique, about his end product, but that was absolutely brilliant. I think he's grown in confidence from his last couple of games, and this is absolutely brilliant goal. Keeper should maybe do better, but if you watch him here, you have a long time to think about it. Look, anything could happen here, and he's thinking, fair play to him, kept his eye on the ball, got over it, and to be the winning goal as well on the top of the clean sheet, happy days for the kid.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's got the winning goal tonight. I know Manchester United a few days ago, Villa Park, he was involved in that goal, wasn't he, in terms of, being really aggressive, winning the ball, then getting it into Cunha as well, playing a big part in that. So, it hasn't been easy for him. At times, when you talk about him playing wing-back, he's played both sides, hasn't he, wing-back position as well. But could
that work for him right midfield? I mentioned at half-time that the 3 goals that he scored previous to tonight had all come playing on the right side, the right midfield for Lecce.
Well, listen, that's the way, isn't it? Your players, left foot to play on the right, don't they? Cutting in on that left foot. Listen, it remains to be seen. I think the big question for the manager is this a system that he's going to stick with, or is it because of the position he's found himself in terms of players that he's got, players who are out injured? So I think it remains to be seen what he will be doing over these coming weeks. But one thing we should say, it fooled us before the game, and it definitely fooled Eddie Howe and Newcastle, because there was a little mention about his goalkeeper going down, wasn't he, in that first half, to try and get that message on. So if Ruben Amorim can go forward and almost keep that way, you're going into games not 100% sure what the opposition are going to do. That's never an easy place to come up against an opposition where you're not quite sure what they're going to do, who they're going to play, and maybe that can be something that can add it to improve United.
Yeah, maybe they did catch him out. Yeah, maybe they have been a bit predictable. You know what's coming with them, but tonight, definitely caught everybody out.
Well, how about the emergence of Aiden Heaven as well, the absence of De Ligt and Maguire, 2 senior figures at the back. Martinez was back tonight, but what about the game that he had, Roy?
Yeah, he done very well, and I think the game suited him. Sometimes it's nice to be, particularly in the first half, up to be against an out-and-out strike and enjoy that physical challenge. He's certainly got a lot of composure in the ball, and he's learned his trade. These are all different tests for him, obviously clearing your lines, and these type of things, these are basic parts of defending, because you've still got to do it. And then when you back it up with a clean sheet, it just gives you loads of confidence. You saw his interview after the game. They're obviously very naive, talking about winning the league, etc. But you love that in young kids as well. They bring a raw energy, and even their balls coming into the area, the old-fashioned centre halves get your head in it, and you see the reaction after the game. It means a lot to the kid, and their clearance is outstanding.
I thought he was brilliant, and listen, the big thing that stands out, I think in these last few weeks, he's playing alongside Yoro, 2 young centre backs. It's not going to be easy being there myself. You make mistakes, you have to learn on the job a little bit. But let's not forget, Euro cost £50 million, and he's the one who's actually step out
for free.
Sit out. But and then also, I think an interesting point that we made before the game. We weren't quite sure whether Sandro Martinez was going to play. So you got two left-footed players playing alongside each other at the back. Yes, we thought it was a back three, but when it's a back four, the younger guy's the one who's sort of playing on the right side. Normally, it'd be maybe the more, you know, we don't know. You know, only the manager will know the reason why he did it, and that could be one of the reasons also.
Well, we'll find out. Well, we hope we'll find a little bit